Good evening. This is the Lion of Legend, and welcome back to 14 Days with You. Also, this is Lion from the future here. For whatever reason, I guess I just hopped right into the reading, so this may be a little random. But I'm inserting this audio now just so you all are not confused. Anyway, on with the show. It took a while, but Ren managed to set the cameras up and hook it all up to an app on my phone, all while I made myself comfortable on the couch. He explained how to use it, but if I were being honest, I started to nod off once he started geeking out about the different kinds of alarm buttons. Before I know it, my head falls onto his shoulder with a soft thump, and I feel Ren's body shake as he lets out a faint laugh. Something moves from the chair next to him before a warm duvet is wrapped around my shoulders. I can feel Ren pull me to the side before we both fall backwards onto the couch. His chest softens the blow, and with one of his hands gently threading through my hair, I slowly start to drift off. Nostalgia greets me once more, and before my consciousness fades away, I try to chase after the foggy memory that had been plaguing my brain as of late. Those three kids laughing and playing together near a lake. Who were they? And who was the one that stayed right by my side, even after everyone else went home? Almost desperately, I try and recall their face, or any of their defining features, really. At this point, I'd take anything. But it's all for naught when I feel Ren's lips fall to the crown of my head to place a chaste kiss. Sleep well, Lion. With his comforting voice in my mind, I slowly start to slip away. Wait a minute, that was the end of the demo? Hold on a second, I'm only 3 minutes into the recording. Wait, hold on a second. What am I missing out on here? Let me go back. Alright, let's decline. We're not gonna let him in. No, I didn't want to risk it. I really appreciate the offer, Ren, but I gotta tough this one out on my own. Oh, if you say so. His concern for my well-being is evident, but I didn't want to get him involved. This was my problem, and I would handle it all on my own. Still, part of me knew I wouldn't hesitate to call him if something went wrong. After spending so much time with Ren, I'd grown to appreciate his company. Something about him felt so comforting to me. Anyway, you should probably head home before the storm comes. Thanks for dropping me off, and for the food. I make sure to lift up the bag full of takeaway for him to see. Of course. Thanks for, paying for my ticket? You can thank Tio for that. I think I'll pass. Ren's face playfully scrunches up at the mere mention of Tio, and I find myself letting out a small chuckle before unlocking my front door and stepping into my apartment. Well, I should probably go get this camera set up and head to bed. Stay safe on your drive back. You too. Or, well, you're not driving anywhere, so dream safe. Drive sleep. Stay well? I still can't get this right. Good night, Ren. I send him off with a smile before closing the door. It takes me a while and countless online video tutorials, but I somehow managed to set up the security cameras and connect them to an app on my phone without too much trouble. It would alert me of any unusual activity and movements when I'm not home, and I felt immensely safer because of it. Though I still had faith that my new lock hadn't been tampered with since I got it, considering how the letter had been shoved underneath the door, rather than being placed on something as conspicuous as a table. If I had found it on my bedside table instead, I definitely would have felt true fear. Ugh, I was getting worked up again. If I continued to think about this any more than I should, I swear I would start to go crazy. Deciding that this was a problem for future me, I lock myself in my bedroom and hide within the safety of my duvet. A faint glow emits from my phone as I check to make sure I have all the angles in my apartment covered. Satisfied with my handiwork, I lay back on my bed and idly zoom in and out with one of the camera screens until I grow bored. I doubt I'd be able to fall asleep quickly, but it wouldn't hurt to try. Besides, I had to be up bright and early for work tomorrow. With that thought in my mind, I lock my phone, shove it under one of my pillows, and will myself to fall asleep. Nostalgia greets me like an old friend, and before my consciousness fades away, I try to chase after the foggy memory that had been plaguing my brain as of late. Those 3 kids laughing and playing together near a lake. Who were they? And who was the one that stayed right by my side, even after everyone else went home? Almost desperately, I try and recall their face, or any of their defining features, really. At this point, I'd take anything. The faintest recollection of pudgy cheeks, twin pigtails, and a frowning expression swirls in my mind, but it slips away the moment I drift further into dreamland. End of the demo. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna go for all the endings here. Let's go back. Okay, I'm not sure if it's really worth posting this as a video, so perhaps I will just save this for when day 5 comes out. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, so I guess I didn't realize that day 5 actually came out earlier this year, so I went out and downloaded the newest version, and here we are. So, let's hop right back in. Okay, so it seems I have to start over from the beginning. So, yeah. Lion? You're back? I can't wait to see you again, Angel. And in other news, the remains of yet another body has been pulled out from Lake Blue Moss, making it a total of 4 unidentifiable victims this past year. Authorities believe that... Stifling a groan with the rim of my coffee cup, I fish around for the remote lodge between the cushions and turn off the TV. I wasn't about to let some morbid headlines hamper the start of my cheerful morning, especially considering how today was going to be my first day at work after finally getting that hard-earned promotion. I mean, sure, stacking and sorting through books at a library might not have been my dream job, or even my first choice of places to work after moving back. But the pay was nice, my coworkers were friendly, and the building was located within the perfect walking distance from my apartment. There was even this adorable little bakery along the way that served the best shortcakes and croissants known to mankind, and the manager there always loved to hand out small freebies whenever I stopped by. It still beats living in the city, though. Honestly, I wasn't even sure why I left my hometown in the first place. The fast-paced, hustle and bustle lifestyle of the city just wasn't what I was longing for whenever I stared out of my window on sleepless nights, and the people there were always rude and indignant. It was nothing like Cortland Bay, where everyone felt like a close-knit family, and the air smelled like the sea rather than pollution. And sure, the local crime rate might be getting out of hand as of late, and there might be fewer things for me to do here. But my new job keeps me busy, and I prefer spending time alone at the beach over visiting shady bars with people I barely considered friends. In fact, setting my mug onto the table, I reach into my pockets and pull out my phone. A notification from Moth, my online friend, pops up, so I tap on the screen to read their message. What greets me is an adorable sticker of some anime character giving a thumbs up, as well as a short message that says, "Good luck today," underneath. Moth had always been adamant about showing their endless support for me, even after 5 years of friendship, cursed memes, and late-night video calls. And even though I would never admit it out loud, I was truly grateful to have someone like them in my life. Pulling up the keyboard, I begin to type a response to their message. Send back another sticker. When did I download that pack of anime stickers? Not that I was about to complain or anything. After all, they were free, charming, and included some of my favorite comfort characters. Without hesitating, I send back a sticker of some green-haired protagonist holding up a giant heart. A gray chat bubble pops up just as I hit the send button, indicating that Moth was typing out another message. By the way, did you see the latest AOG app? I heard Haruko got an outfit change. Spoiled it for me. Did he really change his hairstyle as well? Or was it really just his sorcerer outfit? Attack on Giants, or AOG as Moth liked to call it, is a popular anime series that we recently became obsessed with, and Haruko is one of the main characters from the show. He's a sorcerer known for his shy and airheaded demeanor, and as of late, his hairstyle had become a trending topic within the community. Now that I thought about it, what hairstyle did Haruko have in the latest episode? We'll say it's short now. He cut it short? Let's hold a funeral. Rest and rip to his luscious pink locks, gone but not forgotten. By the way, I don't mean to change the subject, but didn't you say last night that you were going to head to work at 8 a.m.? Because it's like almost 9:30 where you are right now. Right? How am I just dumb and got the time zones mixed up again, lol. Looking at the time displayed on my phone, I immediately let out a string of curses and leaped to my feet. Shit! Grabbing the coat that I had carelessly strewn across the back of the sofa earlier, I quickly shrug it on, before making a beeline towards the front door. Before I leave, however, I spare myself one final glance in the poorly hung mirror in the hallway. Hopefully, the outfit I chose was appropriate for my job. We'll do, something trendy. Did this outfit cost me an arm and a leg to obtain? Perhaps, but hey, if my paycheck can cover it, then I should be able to wear it. Giving myself a small spin in the mirror, I admire how the eye-catching accessories move around me. But enough of that. I can check myself out another time. Hastily, I smooth out the wrinkles and pick off any stray pieces of lint from my sleeves before I finally head out the front door. And almost catch my coat on the door handle in the process. With a grumble, I tug at the fabric of my coat before slamming the door shut with a little bit too much force than necessary. Even trying to insert my key came with a bit of a struggle, and I had to fight the urge to yell in frustration as I attempted to lock my door. Seriously, won't that lazy bum of a landlord do something about this? I swear I've complained about this at least 4 times this month. Oh, hey there, Lion. Looking good. My neighbor, Violet, practically beams at me while she fishes through her pockets for her own apartment key. Resting on her hip was yet another potted plant, and I found myself wondering where she was going to put it this time. I was almost entirely convinced that her whole apartment had been turned into a greenhouse at this point, considering how her balcony was practically filled to the brim with different kinds of plants, greenery, and other various kinds of flora. But I wasn't about to complain or anything. The fragrance that wafted with the wind always smelled floral and earthy, and it did well to mask the smell of smoke and burnt food whenever I tried to cook. Hey, isn't your top from that high-end brand? I didn't know we had similar taste in fashion. You'll have to let me peek inside your closet someday. I've been looking for some new inspiration lately. Especially with winter right around the corner. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Oh, but back to you. I wonder what the exclamation point. It's been so long since I booted this game up. I wonder what it... Well, let's see. Type something here. Good. No. Whoa. Return. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Good evening. Her voice pulls me away from my thoughts, and I notice how the growing smile on her face doesn't seem to falter. Wow, Violet sure was extra chirpy this morning. I wondered if she let me borrow some of that energy. In response, I shoot my neighbor a grin of my own, and it was apparently enough to brighten her mood even more than it was already. Is that another plant? Oh, yeah, this is Charlie. I'm thinking of putting her next to Whitney. Great. She names her plants. Oh, I almost forgot. I've been meaning to ask you this, but when were you going to tell me that you were seeing someone? Huh? A knowing look pulls at her features as Violet continues to fiddle with the lock on her door. What are you talking about? Come on, don't act like you didn't just have a guy over last night. I saw him leaving when I took Kathy out for a walk. I'd be more worried about my neighbor taking her plants, named plants, out on a walk at night. But the thought of someone leaving my apartment seemed to set off way more alarm bells. I give Violet a concerned look, and she picks up on it almost immediately. You don't remember? Don't tell me you were drunk or something. With a huff, she gives up on trying to unlock the door. It seemed as though we both shared the same problem with our apartment locks, and places her potted plants on the ground before slowly making her way towards me. Tall guy? Wearing a dark slasher hoodie? Probably into either alt-fashion or bondage with the crazy amount of belts and loops wrapped around his leg? Ring any bells? No. Last night I was just catching up on some TV shows and talking with my friend. No one came here. Even if they did, I would have heard them. My place isn't really that big anyway. Really? But I was so sure it was your door. A hand rests on her cheek in a thinking manner before she pouts up at me, seemingly giving in. For now. Well, alright then. Maybe it was somebody else's apartment. I mean, it's always so dark in these hallways at night. Honestly, what is our landlord doing? Would you mind if I check in with security downstairs later? It'd give me some peace of mind. Yeah, that's fine. Alright then. Thank you, Lion. Welp, I got some plants to water and some MMOs to raid in, so... Violet lets out one last huff before she picks up her plant. What did she name this one again? And goes back to unlocking her door. Good talk, I guess, even if it was kinda awkward. Yeah, sure. See you later, V. Slipping past my neighbor and into the cramped hallway, I quickly make for the stairs. When will they fix that broken elevator? And break into a slight jog. Thankfully, the weather was rather cool today, and the shoes I chose weren't going to leave me with blisters by the time I reached the library. The smell of old paper, coffee, and soft incense floods my senses as I step through the library's glass doors. The melodic chimes alert the woman at the reception desk of my arrival, and I watch as she tucks a strand of stray blonde hair behind her ear as she turns around to greet me. Good morning, Eleanor. Oh. She looks surprised for some reason before her expression morphs into a soft smile, and she beckons me closer with a nod of her head. Eleanor is one of my coworkers here at Cortland Bay Library, and one of the very few people here who actually gets the work done. And although she's notorious for being rather scatterbrained, she more than makes up for it with her caring and doting attitude towards everyone. but her nurturing personality can get rather overbearing at times, and I often find myself having to step away to get some breathing room. Nevertheless, she's charming to work with, and I appreciate her always looking out for me. After all, who knows what my sleeping schedule would have looked like without her help. Lion, just on time. I printed out your... Wait, where did I... Her expression turns into a slight panic as she spins on her heels, and I silently watch with amusement as she shuffles through the various books and stacks of papers lining her desk. Where did I leave it? Ah, here it is. Spinning around once more, Eleanor comes back and hands me a sheet of paper with the word schedule printed in big bold letters. I take it from her grasp and give the sheet a once-over. Well, it looks like I'm going to be busy for the next few weeks, but I guess Eleanor doesn't seem to share the same disdain as me, judging from the playful look plastered on her face. So, how does it feel to no longer be the one in charge of stacking books all day long? Although, you still have to work the front desk from time to time though, unfortunately. I offer a weak smile at her words before rounding the corner and placing my bag under the desk. And as I begin to pull out some of my belongings, the front door chimes again, letting everyone know that another patron has come in. Figuring Eleanor has it all covered, I leave the customer to her as I go back to preparing everything for the day. But as I turn around to check on her, I noticed that she had already finished greeting the customer and was on her way back to her own desk across from mine. As if sensing my gaze, she spins around in her office chair and flashes me a teasing grin. Looks like he's back again. Eleanor gives a soft chuckle as she inclines her head in the direction of the person she was talking about. You know, that new guy. I don't know when he started showing up here in the Bay, but he always comes in and rents out the books you recommend on the display window. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say he has a little crush on you. Especially with that outfit you've got on. It makes you look rather handsome, so I can't really fault him for staring. Because he was staring. A lot. Snorting, I push Eleanor's office chair so that she's facing the other way and focus my attention back to the papers in front of me. What was with everyone today? Always smiling, gossiping about other people, and meddling in business that wasn't their own. It was bad enough that I had to deal with a potential intruder, but I doubt my deadbeat landlord was going to do anything about it. I might need to buy a stronger lock on my way home from work. Maybe even some kind of alarm system. But would the store still be open by then? All of a sudden, I get pulled backwards as Eleanor playfully wheels my chair around and leans over my shoulder to softly speak into my ear. Would you look at that? Loverboy in aisle 8 needs some help, it seems. She nods in the direction of the red light flashing above the bookshelves, signaling to the staff that someone in that row needed assistance. With a sigh, I reluctantly stand up and make my way over. I already knew for a fact that Eleanor wasn't going to help them herself, so I begrudgingly begin to make my way toward aisle 8 alone. I knew better than to glance back at her though, knowing fully well that my teasing coworker would be sporting the biggest grin on her face at my misfortune. Ducking around the corner and into the aisle, I was immediately met with a broad backside that was covered by what had to be the comfiest looking cardigan I'd ever seen. The person whom it belonged to, however, hadn't seemed to notice me yet, so I awkwardly clear my throat and absent-mindedly shift my weights from one foot to the other. Ahem. Ah. He seems to jump at the sudden noise before sheepishly turning around to face me. Immediately, I was taken aback by his soft demeanor, doe-like eyes, and imposing height. So this was the guy who always rented out my recommended books on the display window, huh? He definitely fit the aesthetic of a cozy literature lover needing a good book. His pink hair also reminded me of Haruko, an anime character I had recently been obsessing over with Moth during our late-night video calls. In fact, even the overall cut and style appeared vaguely similar to his. But then again, this hairstyle could have been trending right now or something, and I just so happened to be the last one to know about it. But Now that I really had a good look at him, which proved difficult considering his towering height, this stranger also seemed to bear a near picture-perfect resemblance to the male lead from this webcomic I was reading. It was called Always With You, and it involved the main character meeting the love of his life at a... As if noticing my spaced-out look, the stranger absent-mindedly scratches at his jaw while he waits for me to snap out of my thoughts. In fact, I had been so distracted that I didn't even realize that he had been muttering quietly to himself. I wasn't expecting you to show up so soon. Sorry. I hope I'm not bothering you. I was just looking for, His voice pulls me back to the present, and I hastily try to make sense of what was spilling from his cherry-tinted lips. Watching him struggle with his words would have made anyone feel bad, so I offer him a reassuring smile in return, and an encouraging nod of my head. At that, he takes a steady inhale of air before trying again. I need some help. I'm looking for a specific book, you see, but... And now he's playing with the ends of his sleeves. I felt this sudden urge to reach out and stop him. Did I find the action annoying, endearing, relatable? Who knows? But instead, I held back and waited for him to find the words to speak. But, wow, even his mannerisms were eerily similar to Haruko's. The endearing awkwardness and sleeve tucking gave me a sense of deja vu, and it honestly felt like he walked straight out of the anime and into this very library. Man, Moth is gonna freak when I tell them about this later. The stranger in front of me takes in another shaky inhale before he tries to speak once more, this time with a lot more confidence in his tone and a fire in his eye. Do you have any books on native flora? The best I've found are on generic wildlife, but nothing about Corlin-based plants. Or maybe I'm just in the wrong aisle. He was looking for a book about the native flora? Perhaps I should introduce him to Violet. Chuckling to myself at the thought, I stepped closer to the tall man and began scanning the contents of the shelf beside him. He almost seems to flinch at the sudden closeness between us, but showed no signs of moving away. In fact, he seemed to almost lean closer and incline his head towards mine. And had I not been too preoccupied with finding that book, I would have noticed how his breath hitches in his throat as my scent floods his senses. No, you're definitely in the right aisle. Those kinds of books are just more hidden, I guess. I step past him this time and make my way over to the lower parts of the shelves. Absent-mindedly, I run a finger against the spines of each book until I come into contact with one book in particular. Then, bending over slightly, I pull the book from the shelf and give the cover a once-over before offering it to the man behind me. Is this what you're looking for? Too preoccupied with the misplaced book on the bookshelf, who brings cookbooks to the nature aisle? I barely notice how his blue eyes trail across my form before landing on the book held out in my outstretched hand. Was it just me, or did he have a certain glint in his eyes? Was this book really that interesting? Or perhaps this tall stranger was just really into nature? Well, not that it mattered, because he was already taking a tentative step forward and revealing more of his hands from the depths of his long sleeves. With shaky fingers, I watch as the stranger reaches out and takes it from my grasp. He flips through a few pages to take in its contents, before finally settling on the book with an affirmative nod. Yes, this is exactly what I was looking for, thank you. I'm glad. You're like an angel sent down from heaven or something. You're so helpful, kind too. What? What? Oh, I didn't. Did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to. That must have been so weird, I'm so sorry. He looked as though he was about to cry now, so I hastily threw up my hands in a comforting manner and shot him a reassuring smile. Hey, it's fine. No need to freak out. I wasn't expecting someone to say that about me is all. Really? Well, I think it's true for what it's worth. You really are like an angel. Thanks? Figuring that was my cue to leave before things got awkward, I gave him one last friendly smile and suddenly glanced back toward the front desk. But the eccentric man showed no signs of moving. Instead, he just looked down at me expectantly. Did he want to continue the conversation? It seemed unlikely as he didn't say anything. He simply stared at me. Awkwardly, I cleared my throat for what had to be the millionth time today and gestured vaguely to the reception desk behind me. Well, if you don't need any more help, I should... This is just getting weird now. Should I even attempt to continue this conversation or just leave? I mean, it would seem rude to just walk away abruptly, especially considering how he's apparently a regular patron in a library I worked at, but he wasn't making much of an effort either. So what should I do? I was informed that we can do things with Ren a lot more early than I realized. Apparently, in my first playthrough, I went through a very, I suppose you could say, safe for work run. So I am going to attempt to do things that are very not smart. So I guess for here, I will keep talking to him. I don't even remember what I did the first time. It's been so long. So, do you come here often? Seriously, Lion? That was the best you could come up with? Oh, damn it. Now he probably thinks I'm the weird one. Yes, actually. I like visiting whenever I have some free time. Although I usually end up coming here just to hide away in the corner somewhere and look at you. Your book collection. What did you say, Ren? Can I see that? Yeah, I can't. I guess I'll have to see that in the recording. Oh boy. Hey, you have a lot of interesting books here. Lots and lots of, books. Yeah. I mean, it is a library, after all. But, sure. Whatever you say, Mr. Actually, now that I think about it, you haven't told me your name yet. Oh, I guess you're right. You can call me... Redacted. The background is being weird. Okay. What? It's like he said something, but his voice was delayed. Was that even his voice? Was he speaking English? It almost felt like something that came out of a dream. How did you do that? Do what? Anyway, you can just call me Ren if you'd like. Is it alright if I call you Lion? Although, Angel does suit you just as well, in my personal opinion at least. Seriously, what the hell just happened? Was I just imagining things? And was he really flirting with me right now? Are you okay? Yeah, I think. But, how did you know my name? I don't remember telling you. Silly, it's on your name tag. As if to prove a point, Ren reaches out to gently flick the name tag that I somehow forgot that I had put on this morning. Oh. Lion is a cute name, though. And it's really, really, really fun to say, especially over and over again. Right. Anyway. Say, are you busy later? I'd love to thank you for helping me find this book. Seriously, what was up with this guy? One minute he's shy, and the next he's bold. It was almost like he was putting up several fronts to see which one I responded to better. Actually, I'll be busy this afternoon. I need to buy a new lock for my apartment. A new lock? That doesn't sound good. Can I ask why? I guess it wouldn't hurt to tell him. I mean, what was he going to do? Personally show up at my doorstep and test the new lock himself? Yeah, he probably will do that. Apparently, someone broke into my apartment last night and I didn't notice. I don't think they stole anything, but still, it's creepy. I figured it's better to be safe than sorry, you know? Yeah, but it sounds like instead of a lock, you just need to jump the scumbag when they least expect it and beat him up to teach them a lesson. Stay up all night if you have to. Really get the edge on them. I couldn't help but let out a genuine chuckle at his suggestion. If I had to choose, then this would have to be the side of him that I preferred. He seemed at ease, and his words weren't as forced or awkward. Yeah, And who's going to be the one to beat up the guy at 3 a.m.? Because last I checked, I'm not really the type to go around throwing punches at people I don't know. And definitely not before the sun is up and shining. Yeah, that's good advice, everybody. Try not to do that if you don't have to. I could do it for you. You? But, I mean, we don't even know each other that well, and... That's fine. I could tell you all about myself on the walk there. My whole life story and everything. Where I was born, the school I went to, how many cute librarians I've met. Which happens to be one, so far. Before I could even comment on his sudden confidence, Ren seems to pick up on my discomfort at his choice of words, if it even was discomfort that I was feeling, and hastily backtracks. Hey, or not. I was just messing around. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. There it was again, that subtle shift in his personality. But, now that he mentioned it, would it really hurt to invite him to my place for the night? He definitely looked like he could handle himself in a fight, his contrasting outfit aside, so maybe it wasn't so bad of an idea. Oh yeah, it's totally 100% a bad idea, and I'm pretty sure that my first playthrough, I was being extremely smart and not going that, yeah. But this time, I'm going with, how do I, the horny path, yeah, that one. Actually, you know what, would you mind coming over and staying the night? I'd feel a bit safer knowing someone else was around. Oh, you actually want me to come over? I mean, yeah, sure, definitely. He seems a bit too eager for this. If it's not too much trouble, I get... Where is he? Lion? Ah! There you are. Someone at the front desk is looking for you and... Oh, sorry, are you busy right now? I can... Impeccable timing as always, Eleanor. No, it's fine. I think everything is already handled here, right? I gave the two of them a soft smile before making my way towards the reception desk. But as I passed by Eleanor, I gently clasped a hand on her shoulder and shoot her a playful look of my own. If you need more help, I'm sure Eleanor here can assist you. She loves helping others, right? And as I turned to leave, I barely missed the way Ren's eyes zone in on my hand resting on Eleanor's shoulder. Hours seemed to pass by in a blur, and soon enough, I find myself resting up in the employees' lounge. My mind drifts back to the guy from earlier, and I couldn't help but wonder what happened to him afterwards. Did he rent out the book I offered? What about my recommended novel of the week? Ren surely was strange, to say the least, but I had to admit that he did seem kind of cute with his oversized cardigan and timid demeanor. He still gave me off-putting vibes though, especially with his ever-changing personality. And if I had to be completely honest, that shy and timid persona that he displayed felt rather forced to me. It was almost as if he saw it on TV or something and wanted to try it out himself, and I just happened to be one of his first victims. But who was I to call him out for it? That was his business if he wanted to act all shy and demure. Lion, everything all right? It's not often I find you in here at this time. Conan, my boss, startles me as he suddenly appears in the entranceway. Everyone saw him as some kind of blessing to this institution, because the moment he showed up, all forms of trouble seemed to disappear overnight. Those low-life teens started causing chaos elsewhere, and the rumored gangs became few and far between. At first, I thought he might have been linked with these criminals because of his intimidating gaze and facial scars, but then I got to know him better, and found out that he had a massive soft spot for those dear to him. Though, much like Eleanor, Conan felt like a father figure with how much he fretted over his staff and their well-being. I mean, he literally installed a new air conditioner and water dispenser last week because one of his employees fainted due to heart stroke. It wasn't anything too major, but it was nice to know that our boss was considerate enough about the people he hired. I doubt I could say the same about my old job in the city. Conan was also nice to chat whenever I went on my breaks, and would always encourage me to take as much time as I needed before I returned to my desk. But after realizing that I had, once again, been spacing out, I pulled myself away from my thoughts and turned to offer my boss an acknowledging smile. Yeah, I'm fine. Just taking a short break. I'll be back out there soon enough. Take as long as you need. Don't overwork yourself. He seems hesitant to leave, if the way he was shifting from one foot to the other was any indication. He shoots me a concerned look before opening his mouth, only to close it once more in contemplation. Have you seen Eleanor? I asked her to come see me regarding the unsorted novels in the storeroom, but she's yet to show up. Eleanor? Last I saw her, she was talking to one of our patrons in aisle 8. Maybe she's still there. I'll have to check again then. Thank you. And with that, he disappeared just as quietly as he came. But that was odd. It wasn't like Eleanor to suddenly go missing. Was she still occupied with Ren? It had been a while, so I figured she would have finished helping him and left by now. Oh well, I'm sure she'll turn up sooner or later. Ren didn't seem much like a talkative person anyway. Jeez, why did my thoughts keep returning to that eccentric man? Deciding that I wasn't going to waste my time thinking about any more pink-haired guys, my beloved Haruko aside, I get up from the lounge and meander my way back towards the front desk again. But once I arrive, I immediately noticed that my chatty coworker was still nowhere to be found. It was just like my boss had said. Eleanor wasn't anywhere to be seen, and it wasn't like her to leave the reception desk unattended for so long. Maybe she managed to knock over a pile of books again and was busy cleaning it up. It certainly wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary for her. Well, whatever. I'm sure she'll turn up again soon. The impact from me plopping down into my office chair causes some of the papers around me to rustle, and a bright pink sticky note fluttering around captures my attention. Assuming it was left here by Eleanor, I peel the folded note off my computer screen and read it. Angel. Unfolding it, read the following. I'll wait for you after work, but if you change your mind about our deal, just keep walking. I'll take the hint. Don't worry. That stuttering guy from aisle 8. The stuttering guy from aisle 8. I couldn't help but crack a smile at the name Ren chose for himself. And before I could allow Eleanor the chance to manifest behind me and to tease me to Kingdom Come, I pocket the note and go back to sorting through the stack of returned books left on the desk. I caught a glimpse of Ren patiently waiting for me on one of the benches as I pack up for the day and leave the library. From afar, he looked like an oversized puppy waiting for his owner to return from work, and admittedly, I found it rather cute, especially with how his figurative tail started to wag upon my arrival. Ren seems all too happy to see me, but before I could call him out on it, he offers me a bottle of water that I assume he bought from one of the convenience stores down the street. You worked hard today. Now you can finally rest, huh? He's looking down at me again with a glimmer of expectancy in his eyes, so I hesitantly take the bottled water from his grasp and give him an affirmative nod of my head. Thanks. No problem. Did you want to head off now, or do you want to rest for a bit? I mean, you were standing a lot today. He seems almost lost in his thoughts now, and I wonder how he knew what I'd been doing all day. After all, I figured he would have left after he found that book, but maybe he stayed a bit longer to read it. Oh, no, I'm fine. And do you think we can make a quick detour on the way? I still need to... Lion! Heyo! I could recognize those boisterous voices anywhere. The first one belonged to Jae-hyun, the guy I had met at university. He sat next to me during the first few days of orientation, and even offered to lend me his phone charger when my battery started to run out. He's a fun guy to be around, though his extroverted and energetic personality was often hard to keep up with. But Leon, the other guy awkwardly hanging off Jay's arm, was a different story. We'd practically known each other since we were babies, but he moved away from Cortland Bay when we were still in elementary school. I wasn't sure when he moved back to the Bay, but it was great knowing I'd be able to see him again. I just wished I could find the time to hang out with him just like we used to. But I was always busy with work, and he was always busy playing volleyball and taking care of his sick mother in the hospital. Before I knew it, I was being pulled out of my thoughts by Jay's bubbly laughter, Hey, is still with us? Hey, Lion. Finally finished with work? Oh, and who's this? This is Ren. We actually met at work today. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to tell Leon, the human personification of overprotective, that I had just met the man today. What would he think if he found out I was bringing home a complete stranger? He usually rents out my recommended books in the library, anyway. Leon, Jay, this is Ren. Ren, this is Leon and Jay. Unfortunately, these guys are my friends. It's truly unfortunate to know a handsome bloke such as myself. Leon dramatically clutches the spots above his heart as he leans further into Jay's shoulder. So, you're Ren. Are you new here? I like to think I know everyone here in the Bay, but it seems you've proven me wrong. Yeah. I recently moved here a couple of months ago. Ah, same as Lion. I'm pretty sure he moved here back, 2 months ago, right? Leon looks at me for confirmation, and I meekly nod my head. Strange how I've only been back here for 2 months, and I've yet to find enough time to catch up with all my friends. What a coincidence. Anyway, talking about moving is boring. Do you want to come hang out with us? I barely noticed the way Ren gets shoved to the side by Jay, intentional or not, nor could I make out the scowl on his face as soon as the excitable man leans a little too close into my personal bubble. We were just about to head over to Club Shoreline. Do you want to come? I'm sure Leon wouldn't mind paying for you as well. Boy, I don't mind paying for him, but who said anything about paying for you? I did, just now. Thanks, Leon, you're the best. I don't miss the way Leon rolls his eyes at Jay's antics before settling his gaze on me once more. Do you want to tag along? I really don't mind paying if you do. Sorry guys, I've actually already made plans. And do these plans have anything to do with this lanky fellow? My name's Ren. Actually, yeah. I promised I'd hang out with him today. Aw, he can come clubbing with us too. The more the merrier. I'd rather not. Sorry, maybe another time. I'm kinda drained from work anyway, so... Hey, no worries, Darl. Just make sure you take it easy when you get back home, yeah? He shoots me a considerate smile before throwing an arm over Jay's shoulder. Well then, if you'll excuse us, I gotta find a way to get this knucklehead to cover his own entry fees. We can catch up another time, okay? And if you need help with anything, just give me a ring, yeah? I'll watch my phone like a hawk tonight. It was nice sketching up with you again, Darl. And nice meeting you too, Ron. As they leave, I notice the way Leon looks Ren up and down, almost as if he was sizing him up. But Jay, like always, ignores the mood and thumps Leon in the back to encourage him to walk faster. I watch as they both throw a carefree wave over their shoulders as they both head off in the direction of the nightclub a few blocks down the street. So, that wasn't awkward at all. I turn to look at Ren, but his eyes seem to be fixated on the two retreating figures. He doesn't seem to snap out of it, so I gently clawed his name again. Oh, sorry. Do you wanna head back home now? In the end, we made a quick detour to the local locksmith before heading back to my apartment. So, this is my place. You'll have to excuse the mess. I wasn't expecting to have anyone over. Hey, don't worry about it. I know you're not a messy person. I mean, from what I can tell, you don't really seem like the type. Yeah? Well, I hope you can still keep that image of me after you see the state of my place. His soft laughter echoes down the hallway and almost drowns out the sound of my neighbor opening her door. Oh! Violet almost seems embarrassed as she jumps behind her door, clearly not expecting someone to be around at this time, but she brushes it off with a soft smile and steps outside. Hello again, Lion. We seem to be bumping into each other a lot today, huh? Oh, who's this? How do I explain to my neighbor that Ren wasn't some guy I had just met at work today? I'm certain she'd chew me out for bringing home a complete stranger, but still, he didn't exactly seem like the type to murder me in my sleep. In fact, he seemed more like the type of guy to ask me to return his order because he asked for no pickles or something. This is... I'm Ren. Immediately, his large frame blocks my view as he steps in front of my neighbor and me, almost as if he wanted to put as much distance between us as possible. One of his hands shoots out from inside his pocket, and he gruffly offers it to Violet for her to shake. Concerned about his abrupt actions, I sidestep him and look up to gauge his expression. I'm a friend of Lion's. I see. I haven't seen you around before, though. Are you new to the area? Relax, V. He's not a serial killer or anything. At least, I sure hope he wasn't. And why did I feel the sudden urge to defend him? It wasn't like I could confidently say that he was some holy being that flew down from heaven or something. Maybe he was the one who needed to be called Angel instead. Oh well, it didn't really matter. Really, Ren actually offered to stay at my place for the night in case that creep decides to come back. Oh, well, I mean, he certainly has the height for it. I get that a lot. But don't worry, he's safe in my hands. Well, alright then. A friend of Lion is a friend of mine. But I have my eye on you, Mr. Totally Not a Serial Killer. She whispers the next part to Ren under her breath, but clearly had the intention of letting me hear it as well. Just remember that I know what you look like now, so don't complain if you see your face plastered all over milk cartons soon enough. Well, alrighty then. Enjoy your night, and no funny business, you two. I'm off for my walk now. Toodles. Ignore her, please. Alright. Okay, but I gotta ask, was she holding a potted plant? On a walk? Yes, she was. Dropping my keys into the bowl, I shrug out of my coat and drape it over one of the chairs near the entrance. Well, make yourself at home. Turning to Ren, I watch as he awkwardly shuffles about in the hallway, almost uncertain if he should come inside or not. He moves to take off his shoes, and I watch in awe as he neatly stacks them next to the umbrella rack. Oh, are you the type to leave your shoes on at home? Sorry, Al. No, you're fine. Ugh, he really was adorable. But now that he was here, I wasn't quite sure what to do next. Usually I pop on a TV show or some anime while I chow down some takeaway food. Or even just talk with Moth until some unreasonable hour in the morning. But now that I had company over, I wasn't quite sure what to do. I didn't know what Ren liked to do in his free time. Turning to face the pink-haired man once more, I almost jumped back in fright. Clearly I wasn't expecting him to get so close to me while I was lost in thought. I could almost feel the heat radiating from his large frame and feel the small puffs of air leave his nostrils as he shyly leans down to look at me. Oh, so... Breathe, Lion, breathe. Was there anything you wanted to do, or... Because I usually just... Damn it was hard to think straight when he was standing so close to me and wafting his stupidly strong scent of mint and fresh linen in my direction. Why was I even so attentive to the way Ren smelled? Wow, I'm beginning to sound like a creep. Nah, I don't really have anything I need to do. You can just go about your normal routine if you want, and I'll try not to get in your way. Or you can just put me in a corner somewhere and pretend I'm not there. Whatever works for you. No offense, but you take up much more room than you think, so I doubt that would work. Touché. Once again, I found myself being drawn in by his soft laughter, and I couldn't help but chuckle along with him. Was it always this easy talking to him? It was like we were childhood friends reminiscing about old times or something. Except the only one making it awkward now was me. Glancing back at Ren, I notice how he's still looking at me with those expectant eyes of his as he looms over on me in the entryway. He obviously didn't want to do something I'd be uncomfortable with, and he couldn't really suggest anything since this wasn't his home. So, I guess the choice was up to me after all. Wait a minute. Getting ready for bed. Hold up. Can I really do the... We're gonna see where this leads. It's getting rather late, isn't it? Did you just want to get ready for bed? I can show you the bathroom while I get the air mattress out. It's fine. I don't want to be a bother. I can just sleep on the floor or something. I don't mind, honest. Hey, don't worry about it. It's not a bother at all. Besides, I have timber flooring. I'll just be 2 seconds. I turn and make a beeline for my closet before he can respond. And yet, I barely got 3 meters away before I could hear the heavy, telltale footsteps of Ren following close behind me once more, almost like a puppy. It was honestly kind of cute. Shaking my head to dismiss those thoughts, I pull out my trusty air mattress from the closet and begin setting it up in the lounge room. That is, until I found out that it had a massive, gaping hole on the side. Oh man, I was sitting here thinking, how is this going to lead to Ren having to sleep in my bed? Those damn rats. I swear, if I had the chance to move apartments, I'd take it in a heartbeat. But until then, I'll continue to send complaint after complaint to that good-for-nothing landlord. Really, I don't mind sleeping on the floor. And like I said, I have uncomfortable timber flooring. Unless... Holy moly. Okay. Bad decision making. Absolutely. Wow. Did I really just suggest that he could sleep on my bed with me? And where did I suddenly get so much confidence from? At that, I could feel my entire face flush, and I could barely spare a glance at Ren to notice that he was sporting a similar demeanor. Sorry, I don't know why I... No, I don't mind. It's just... Is that really okay with you? I don't want to make you uncomfortable by invading your personal space, and I really don't mind sleeping on the floor. Nah, it's fine. I'm the one who asked you to do this favor in the first place, so I owe you. After showing Ren to the bathroom to freshen up and changing into my own pajamas in the laundry room, I met him in the middle, and we both made our way to my bedroom. I didn't bother flicking on the light, knowing fully well that I'd be busy ignoring his presence next to mine by pretending to be asleep. So instead, I awkwardly lead him in, before turning to face him in the darkness. You can just pick whichever side you prefer. You first. Oh, but maybe I should be the one closest to the door, just in case. He really didn't need to be so considerate, but nevertheless, I took my side on the left and slowly slipped underneath the sheets. It must have looked forced, but I awkwardly pat the empty space next to me and shoot Ren a crooked smile. He slowly makes his way over and joins me underneath the covers. And before he could even say anything, I slammed down a pillow between us. Thwomp. Just in case I roll over or something, I'm known to be a cuddler in my sleep. Oh, that's fine. I'm the same, I think. You think? I mean, no one's told me yet, but I've woken up to my limbs tangled around my pillow more times than I can count. I see. Yeah. Great. Now it's awkward again. But being this close to Ren, I could smell his scent once more, and it almost feels comforting. I had to fight the urge to roll over onto my side and face him, or rather, the pillow, once more. The bed dips as Ren moves around to get comfortable, and I find myself wondering what he might be looking at right now. Was it my ceiling? The pillow between us? Or was he laying on his side and facing the wardrobe? Why was I so concerned in the first place? Sure, I suppose I did find him rather interesting, but that didn't really explain why I wanted to look at his face one more time. Did I want to get closer to him? Or was I just curious about what that stranger was currently doing in my bed? Okay. This could... want to do? We'll move the pillow and see what happens. Before I can stop myself, my hand reaches out to move the pillow from between us. I was immediately met with soft blue eyes, which I could see widen in surprise even in the darkness of the room. Hi. Hey. Talk about awkward. Without realizing it, I discard the pillow somewhere behind me as I continued to stare deeply into Ren's eyes. There seemed to be some unspoken tension between us, and I had to fight the urge to act upon it. What exactly was I feeling, and why did I want to find out? Holy moly. Okay, hold on a minute. This is clearly going to be my bad decision playthrough. So we're gonna get intimate. Before I could think, I found myself leaning over and drawing my face closer to his. Ren seems to be on the same wavelength as me, as I feel his warm breath fan against my cheeks as his own face draws near to close the distance. One of my hands shoots out to rest against his chest, and before I could stop myself, I leaned in the rest of the way. Almost immediately, I was met with a pair of soft lips and the taste of cherry on my mouth. My eyelids flutter shut at the sensation, and I let Ren's overwhelming presence engulf my entire being. The smell of fresh mint, masculine deodorant, and something that was so wholly Ren flooded my senses, and I felt myself becoming intoxicated by it all. It was like two pieces of a puzzle slotting together with how perfectly our lips seemed to meld with each other, and I couldn't pull myself away. One of his hands rises up to cup my cheek, and I find myself kneeling softly as Ren tilts his head to deepen the kiss. He takes my bottom lip into his own and gently bites down before his tongue joins in, curiously prodding against my lips as if to test the waters. When I meet him halfway with my own, he seems to have finally found the reassurance he needed before deepening the kiss even more. His other hand rests on my waist before gently pulling me closer, clearly not wanting any distance between us. So Ren wanted this just as much as I did. I could feel just how eager he was as he kissed me with even more desperation and fervor than anything I'd ever experienced in my life. But we could only go on for so long before one of us needed air, and that someone happened to be me. When I pull away, Ren practically whines at the loss of contact, and I watch with slight amusement as his lips unconsciously follow to seek out mine once more before his eyes flutter open. A beat passes as we just stare at each other, taking in the moment and to process what had just occurred. His hands are still on me, and it was only then when I noticed that he was tracing faint scars on my cheek with his thumb. Did that really just happen? His voice is soft, so soft that I could barely make out what he was saying. He's staring at me with so much overwhelming adoration in his eyes that I couldn't help but look away. And that was when I saw just how hard that kiss affected him. As if noticing what I was staring at, Ren let out an awkward sound and shifted so that his lower half was obscured by the blankets once more. Sorry, you're just really hard to resist. Not that I'd want to resist you or anything. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I want you. Taken aback by his sudden boldness, I had to allow myself a moment to collect my thoughts. Oh. Holy. Okay. So. Oh boy. I am, when's the last time I did an 18+ scene on this channel? So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do this scene, but I can't show it on YouTube. I can't show it on YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go through it. It is what it is. I don't know, something, maybe I'll start a Patreon. Yeah. The hand that was idly stroking up and down my backside came to an eventual halt, and I didn't even need to look up to know that he had already fallen asleep. He still had a protective hold around me though, so I allowed the exhaustion to take hold of me and follow Ren to dreamland. After all, we could talk about what had just happened in the morning. End of day 1. Okay, I am going to save here and call it here because I have things that I need to go do. So we are going to focus on making extremely bad decisions in this path, which equates to getting with Ren as much as possible. It seems like, again, in my first playthrough, I'm not going to make terrible decisions. I'm not going to go do crazy stuff with Ren, because that was Lion speaking, not like in-game Lion, you know. And it seems that I could have had a much more spicier time with Ren. I was really confused in my first playthrough as to why, like, I was not giving the option to get with Ren almost at all, I should say. And now I understand why. I was taking the safe, smart decision route. We're not going to do that this time though. But unfortunately, since this is going to involve not safe for work scenes, I'm going to have to cut out some of the video. But we'll figure out how I can get those out there. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, you know. Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and leave it a like, leave a comment, share the video, perhaps even subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all in the next video. So have a good night.